WEFM, a new fresh sound.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And welcome back to Activated Mornings. This morning, our topic is mental health, men's mental health. Given that Men's Day was just yesterday, November 19th, International Men's Day. Well, no, it was Men's Day. The month is
International Men's Day was yesterday.
Yeah, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay, yes, I got it right. So this morning we have joining us Doc and of course Christal here in studio and Julonna Peterson and Marlon Young. So a little about these two persons speaking this morning. If you guys don't mind, you could unmute your mic so persons would hear you when you begin speaking. So Julonna has a bachelor's in psychology with sociology honors from UWE Cave-Hill and a master's in development disorders from Lancaster University in the UK. She's a Chevening scholar and founder of the Perfect Project, specializing in inclusive education and development disorders. She is also a psychology lecturer at the H. Lavity Stout, I hope I'm pronouncing this properly, Community College in BVI, and she is well qualified on the topic. And of course, we have Marlon Young, who is a teacher, but he was a bachelor's in economic and political science with international relations and certified in NGO professional management and gender studies. He is the deputy chairperson of the National Adolescent Committee and secretary of the National Adolescent Health Steering Committee, program and policy advisor of the Vinci Chap Caribbean HIV Alliance program. Good morning, everyone. So you'll have to unmute your mics.
Good morning.
Okay, so
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, no. Give us a moment, please. Oh, I forgot moving that.
yeah.
All right. Just a minute. This is what we're going to do. All right, you can turn back up the instrumental. Let me see if I can get it sorted.
Okay, no problem. Oh. All right, maybe that was the problem. All right. So we're back. Apologize for the technical difficulties we had this morning. Okay, yes, we could hear now. So good morning, Marlon and Julonna.
Good
Good
morning.
morning to you and everyone in studio, and by extension, those who are listening.
Hi, good morning. Am I being
So if you
heard?
don't mind introducing yourself a bit to the listeners.
Go ahead,
All
Marlon.
right. Okay. Good morning to WEFM and all of its listeners. It's a pleasure being here. I am Marlon Young. Coming to introduce myself, I tend to have very little to say. But I am passionate about youth development. I'm passionate about healthy living, and also I'm passionate about inclusiveness. I believe that the differences that our world have bestowed upon each and every one of us is what gives it beauty. And I believe that our world, or most young people generally, neglect two great aspects of their life, which is their mental health and their sexual health, which have devastating impact when not taken care of. And I'll pass you over to July.
Hi, good morning again, everybody. Everyone in studio, everyone that's listening in there and call. I hope I'm being heard properly. I'm Julonna, as Ari said earlier. I have a couple of degrees in psychology, so maybe I know a bit of the theory of mental health. But I'm obviously a human being who has mental health, and I do take great pride and passion in youth development as well, inclusive education, mental health, both genders, it matters not, and overall wellness and well-being. So thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I
Sorry, before we go forward, Marlon, because the
Yes.
children in the background there,
Also, I need to find
when
a
you're not
different spot.
speaking, if you can just mute your mic for me,
Okay, no problem. All right.
or a quieter location. Now, kids gonna be kids. But it's a pleasure having you guys. Jolana, I remember, boy, my brain ain't breathing right now, but I know you. And it's a pleasure having back Marlon. I have not spoken with him for a very long time. Uh oh, he disappeared. But let's go. First off, I'll be talking very little because this is not my. We have two wonderful gentlemen here. They will be asking all the questions.
well,
All right, let's start things.
so I think it's very important to note that I don't know how it is in the Caribbean, but in most countries, men make up, I would say, less of a population than women. But somehow the men's suicide rate is always highest. It always dangles between 70 to 80, 85%. And I thought it's important for us to discuss how would you encourage men to cope with their stress, how to approach certain situation, anger management, and these things. So we could start with coping with stress. So what would you guys recommend?
Let's start with Jelano.
Okay, so I'm going to take it back a bit from the developmental aspect of it. Um, I know a lot of us like to think that, okay, men and women are totally different beings, and our cognition, our mental health is something so vastly different, and all of that kind of stuff. But some researchers do say that we have more similarities between the genders than we do differences. And if we can recognize the similarities, then we'll be able to understand our individual makeup psychologically, right? We do know in layman's terms that they tend to say, oh, men are better at like science subjects, or boys are better at math, and that kind of stuff. However, and I'm not going to make this a male versus female thing, but however, anyone can
Mhm.
be better at anything once there's adequate training and opportunities and resources and so forth. So I said that to say, developmentally, we are pretty much similar. However, where the difference comes in and where we have to zone in when it comes to men or boys and their mental health is our gender roles and society on a whole. Because our society is who perpetrates these ideologies that men are supposed to be this way and women are supposed to be this way. And that, in my professional and unprofessional opinion, is definitely the root cause of a lot of stress issues, the way how we cope with stress, the way how men cope with stress in general. So in that, we definitely have to look at the background first. I don't know if Marlon wants to jump in before I actually go into coping strategies per se.
Uh, well, I think
Mhm.
you just did my entire part in terms of gender, but thank you. But when we talk about, I want to speak on the aspect of why we do see a suicide rate for men, which is way higher than women. It is not that women don't have suicidal thought. Research show that women go through more suicidal thoughts than men do, but men, because of the method in which they use. Sometimes men are carefully thought out. Whenever a man decides on suicide, he decides fully. He have methods, and in terms of methods, women use softer methods in hope that somebody would rescue them in time. So, like they take pills, they do these methods, but As Julonna said, there is no real difference when we look at biologically, apart from our reproductive system when it comes to man and a woman. A woman. This only stems when we get into gender and the purpose of gender or what we see gender as, and sometimes when we mix gender and sex together. So we have this whole ideology about what is a man, what a man is supposed to do, and we find in that whole phenomenon that nobody teaches a man how to deal with stress, or he is not supposed to show emotion. And on top of that, again, the only way that men know how to show emotion from what they see in their communities growing up is through violence. And that is why I am strongly against corporal punishment, because as much as we who grew up in the olden times would believe that, oh, it didn't kill me, it didn't work. What are we teaching our children in the end, especially boys, in that sense? So, as Julonna said, she would go into coping mechanism, and we can start from there. So I'll let Julonna start with coping mechanism.
Okay, thank you, for that, Marlon. And you guys could interject anytime because you are the experts, you are the men. But as Marlon said, men tend to cope very maladaptively, meaning the drinking and the aggression and the violence and the withholding. That is the primary one way that men cope with stress. They withhold all the emotions because, yet again, we go back to society. Men are not supposed to show their emotions. They're not supposed to show vulnerability, etc., etc., etc. So, especially according to the society, the community, or the family that men grow up in, that's the type of coping mechanisms that they end up adopting, right? And then what you would see is that would be the way that men cope for the majority of their lives. And then let's say they leave their country, they leave their families, they get exposed to some other type of culture or other people who've been raised differently. And you see that they will then make a 180, if you will, and they would learn new coping strategies, like say, for example, journaling, like writing down their thoughts. That helps a lot because sometimes people in general, we either don't have or we don't think that we can trust other people with our innermost thoughts. So writing it down, you can burn it, you can throw it in the trash, you can shred it so that it will literally be gone from you. That helps. That has been scientifically proven to help with stress and dark thoughts and stuff like that. Doing something that you find fun, like a lot of men, they find playing games or sports or even going to the beach. They find fun doing something that brings you complete peace. Doesn't matter what it is, once it's good, that is definitely one of the better or the adaptive coping strategies. And I can go into lists, generic average type lists, but honestly, it depends on the individual. What works for you in the good sense, that is. Because a lot of men would say, especially in the Caribbean, because I have a brother and stuff like that. And in the Caribbean, men tend to think, oh, going out with the boys and drinking a full bottle of strong rum, that's how I deal with my stress. And it works. It really does not. It only leads to further detriment, further issues, whether it's health issues or even for the psychological issues, right? And that's why the whole, as Ari said earlier, and Marlon said earlier, the suicide rate for men is a whopping figure because of things like that. So I would close for now and move over.
If I to add to what you said in terms. Okay. Go ahead, Thompson.
No, sorry. I wanted you to complete what you're saying. I wanted to kind of come.
Okay, so I was gonna build on the thought of black within the black community and the advent of therapy. Within the black community, especially us men, we have this phobia for therapy because we believe that therapy is something that makes us weak as men. And our coping mechanism, we see it as, we can't go all the way back to slavery, but I don't want to take it from there. I think we have enough times after slavery to see that therapy is important. And therapy doesn't have to mean that we go to a counselor and we sit down in a chair. As Julonna spoke about, there are different methods in which we can find to deal with stressful situations. And based on the gender roles that men have been assigned you can see how stressful that is. For example, if we go back to traditional roles of being the provider and having that burden to provide for your family, being the disciplinarian of the family, having to carry all of that burden day by day, it's very stressful. So how do you unpack as a man? And as a man, this is something that I have to do daily, because sometimes you spend all day at work, you had a stressful day at work, you come home, and then all of a sudden you're reminded of something that you didn't do or another inadequacy, and you may go on the block and the boys joke about it, not realizing that this is a burden that you carry. And we resort to methods like drinking, smoking, or sometimes isolation. And isolation is one of the worst things you can do while going through any stressful situation. And I know it's easy for us to isolate ourselves because we think that we are hiding from the stress. But the fact is, we're talking about mental health, and it's what goes on inside and not necessarily what we see on the outside. So what are the thoughts that you're harboring? And that is why surrounding yourself with positivity, whether it be by the beach, reading a book, writing, journaling, whether it be just talking to a friend, whether it just be having a good time. Some people find music is a way in which that they can lose themselves from the reality. So when we talk about therapy, and we know in the Black community this is a negative word, we're not talking about the traditional therapy that you may see on television. We're talking about how do you unpack all that you're carrying. And this is where men fail, because we growing up, and as I close, is that we know that if a boy falls down, you hear, man, get up, take another one, he ain't supposed to cry. But if a girl falls down, we hug her, we shoo her, we tell her sorry, oh, daddy loves you, that daddy kiss the womb, and so forth. So we're teaching her that it's okay to unpack, but we're not teaching our boys that it's okay. We're teaching a boy that if you unpack, you're weak. And that is when we come to see the real test is that being vulnerable is strength. And that is where I would close.
All right. Well, that's really. You said a lot there, Marlon. And going back, Gary's question was deep. It went straight to the end, because you're right. Women attempt suicide 4 times as much as men. But men, as you say, are 4 times more successful because of the methods they use. When they're going to do it, they mean they're going to do it. But I want to, as we talk about that coping aspect, obviously, being able to talk and express yourself, women, probably because of their monthlies and my 9 monthlies, they interact with doctors and health professionals a lot more often. Men don't seem to do that. Matter of fact, various studies have shown that 40% of men haven't learned to deal with it, but more so 36 don't want to be a burden talking about mental illness. 20% negative stigma, as you said. 17%, I don't feel I need it. And 16%, I don't want to appear weak. But interestingly, at least 20% say they won't even speak to a doctor, health professional, their general practitioner, because maybe their practitioner is too busy. You know, I've experienced that as a doctor. Dealing with patients and so forth, they're not telling me what's really going on in their life. So the thing about speaking about it, you've offered her, but why, for one, isn't therapy available? It should, you say therapy doesn't need to be available as we see on television, but is it available if you need it, one? And secondly, how do you get men, this is most important, how do you get men to start talking? They don't even want to talk to their friends because their friends might put it on the pitch. So how do you get men to really start to talk? I love all the ideas you mentioned, but is the talking to somebody important as compared to the beach and the book, music, and so forth?
Okay, so taking me over into Julonna's professional here, but it's all stem back to development in the way we raise our children. I think one of the major problems we have in terms of parenting is that we do not create a comfort space for our children to speak to us about anything whatsoever. We have this authoritarian rule when we look at parenting. So it is whatever I say goes. And and I'm focusing on the Black community because this is where we are. In the Black community, you dare not tell your parent that you have stress at maybe 7 or 8 year old, or I am depressed, because they think that at that age you have no absolutely reason being depressed or having any form of mental stress whatsoever. So we have to start from all the way there in terms of how do we raise our children? Do we raise our children to be in fear of medicine? Do we or medical profession, or even the psychological professions? And when we move from there, we move into those us who are men. We have to take the responsibility as men to say that I owned who I am and I want to be better. And I have to find means and ways to be better. Another issue that we have to face is that we have a big problem in our society when it comes to privacy and confidentiality. So this is something that makes a lot of men don't want to talk, because as I speak before, when when a man speaks, he sees it as he's being weak or vulnerable. And if I am telling you that this is a problem that I have, eventually this is how I am feeling. Um, One of the things, I was talking to a very good friend of mine, and she told me of a colleague that said to her that vulnerability is a woman's trait. All right. Either I can't remember if she said that to him or he said that to her, but somewhere along like vulnerability is a woman's trait. And in fact, when society makes us to think that if you're going to be vulnerable, you are a woman, and we know all of the negative names that they would call a man if a man is vulnerable. A man say, well, I am stressed, I am feeling depressed, or boy, this, and men joke about being stressed because they don't want to seem weak. But put all of that I said before is that we need to create an atmosphere where men do not see vulnerability as weakness, but as strength. And that starts from the home. It starts from our professional upholding to their laws and ethics of confidentiality. It is, and also as health professionals you speak about, you have a right to probe. If the man comes in and you realize that the issue that he's facing is more than a physical medical issue, but it's a mental health issue. I know you said that you're busy and in St. Vincent is busy. The final thing I would say concerning your question is that we don't see psychology as a viable economic profession in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we don't have a lot of people going into that field because this is not one of the get-rich profession. It is not lawyer, it is not doctor, it's not engineering. And hence a lot of parents don't push their children into it. And I'm gonna, a personality. When I was thinking about going to university, I wanted to study journalism. And my grandmother said to me, we can study journalism for, there's no money in that. You understand? So we're talking about all of these atmosphere that men have to go through, and even our young professionals or even our children as they're thinking about career. We have to create that atmosphere where mental health becomes priority at all times.
You know, I could speak from my personal experience, right? A few years ago, I would have been quick to anger, quick to respond. And when I went to Taiwan to study, interacting with different people, you realize that what I thought would have been normal in the Caribbean society isn't normal after all. And I remember someone had gave me a journal and told me, listen, when you're feeling a certain way, journal it, put it right there. And when I came home with the experience of interacting with a lot of different people. And when I came home, a lot of people tell me, man, you get real soft, boy. That's how you handling situations, boy. You're moving around. You need to toughen up. And it made me realize the problem is not just me as a man. The problem is the society that I live in, where we think that, remember, we small but we talawa, but we not a talawa all the time. But we seem to believe that that is how, as a man, you need to move forward. So I'm wondering, how it is that we're going to combat something like that quickly, and then we have to break for ads, and unfortunately, we have a sponsored segment, so we'll be right back after that if you guys don't mind holding on. So I believe
I think that was directed. Oh, Julonna, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marlon touched on this already in a nutshell, but we have to be re-socialized. We have to be, because like you literally said, Ari, is the culture that we grew up in, the society that we grew up in, and I said it earlier. That's how we grew up, and then when we leave and we intermingle with other cultures and other people who grew up differently, then we learn things, right? Marlon also said it, parenting styles, right? The Caribbean is known for authoritarian parenting style, right? And there are 3 other type of parenting styles. We're going to go into a cyclist right now, but that's not the best parenting style. You can't always be a dictator. You have to let your child show you who they are, because children have personalities. You don't create a personality, right? And then obviously we breed into our children resentment and all those kind of other things. So it starts at the home. I saw someone in the comments, it starts with the mindset. And that obviously has a lot to do with our society, our culture. So we can't magically change something just by speaking about it. We have to change it by doing it, right? And if when we become parents, those of us who aren't yet, or those of us who are parents, especially with young children, we need to start now. Maybe our parents want that way, maybe we didn't grow up that way, but we have to start now. Because if we don't change the mindset of the new generation, 10 years later, 20, 50, 100 years later, there will be a radio program like this, and we're talking about the same problems. So we have to change it now.
Yeah, that's right.
I think when we come back, I think I have a question for Julonna. Are we going to the break now? So?
Yeah, let's just go to the break now and then the sponsored segment very quickly. So don't go anywhere. We're just gonna break for our 5 minutes and come right back.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing. So don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands, providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents, SwiftPack, Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
Did you know? Have you used them? Virtus, Medushi, Lilies. These are among the best bathroom tissue products available anyplace. Excellent quality, larger sheet sizes, and more sheets per roll. Check them out and compare with others. And guess what? Guess what? These are produced right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I tell you, Vinci's have class. Yes, real class as always. Let's keep our standards high. Buy Virtus, Medushi, and Lilies, made by St. Vincent Containers.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry. We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Love it, embrace it.
That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road. Safety is a factor that should never be overlooked when it comes to your car or whatever you drive. SVG Tire Sales and Services in Falls Avenue and at Arnesvale carries a wide selection of quality new tires to fit any car, truck, minibus, or SUV, so you can experience a comfortable and safe commute every time. We are agents for the world's most reliable brands on and off the road, including Kenda Tires, the king of the mountain, Cooper Tires, king of the road and track, Osto, the king of the outback, and High Fly, the king of the Asian Highway. We also carry new tires for light or heavy-duty trucks from MRF, Highfly, and Linglong. A reliable set of new tires keep you, your passengers, and your payload always in the safe lane. So when you need quality tires with reliability at 100%, choose SVG Tire Sales and Services in Kingston. 457-1467 or in Arnesvale 456-6444. SVG Tire Sales and Services. Performance and reliability proven when the rubber meets the road.
Make this season merry with Quartz Ready Cash. Get all you need with a cash loan of up to $20,000 and pay nothing for 90 days. That's right, you pay nothing until 2024. Plus, you can enter to win up to $20,000 in the Ready Cash Mega Money Roadshow. All you need is your ID, proof of address, payslip, job letter, and 2 references. Apply online at shopquartz.com or visit your nearest Quartz or Ready Cash store and make the season merry with Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
WEFM, the new fresh sound. WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Activated mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, welcome back to Activated Mornings. At this time, we're joined by Quartz Ready Cash and our guests from the conversation before. They're here, just waiting to resume. But now, you got to pay the bills. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning? Welcome.
I'm doing well. I'm saying good morning as well to the listeners of WEFM this morning, and I hope everybody had a lovely weekend and a restful one.
Oh, yeah. You sound well rested.
Oh, somewhat. I have a little sore throat, but, I push through still.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. So what's up with Quartz? It's a big week for you guys.
It is a very big week for us. This is Black Week, and we have all of our Black Friday deals starting. Well, the Black Friday deals actually started since the beginning of November at Quartz. But at Quartz Ready Cash, today we start our Black Friday loan sale. And let me tell you, I mean, I don't even know where to start. Like, you just cannot go wrong with this loan sale. You get 25% off of your interest rate when you take a loan of any amount of up to $20,000. 25% off your interest rate. 25%. So you don't have to worry about the exorbitant interest rate that comes with taking a cash loan, as some people would say. And with this 25% off, you also get 90 days to repay your loan. So 25% off, so extremely reduced interest rate, plus 90 days to repay. So your first payment does not start until February of next year. So you don't have to worry about November, you don't have to worry about December, you don't have to worry about January. Your first payment starts in February of next year. Who can do that?
Hey.
Absolutely nobody. Absolutely nobody. And this Black Friday loan sale, it's only valid for 3 days. So from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is today, Monday, you come in, you bring your 2 pieces of ID, payslip, job letter, utility bill, you bring in that information, and we can do an application for you. Do your cash loan, get your money today, because we have a 24-hour approval. Can be less if you are an existing Quartz customer. Right? You bring in that information, you get your loan today, you get your 25% off your interest rate today, and you also get your 90 days repair today also. So it's a lot happening at Quartz Ready Cash. So 25% off your interest rate, 90 days to repay, and you also get a chance to enter in our Mega Money Roadshow, where you can win $20,000 in cash. As I said, there's a lot happening at Quartz right now. So let me go over again. 25% off on our Black Friday loan sale, 25% off your interest rate when you take a loan of up to $20,000. You have nothing to pay, it's $0 down, and your first installment does not start until February of 2024. In addition, you also automatically enter into the draw of our Mega Money Roadshow, where you can win $20,000 in cash. And you can also refer your friend, and you can get $100 cash back once you and your friend get an approved cash loan. So you get $100 cash back, your friend gets $100 cash back if you take a loan of $3,000 or more. So there's a lot happening at Coach Ready Cash.
Sounds like
and I
Oprah.
don't think people realize. Yeah, boy, all the great things. You know, right? You get a card. So there's a lot of great things that are happening at Coach Ready Cash for this week and beyond.
Awesome.
So our Mega Money Roadshow, that is for December, but anybody who would have applied for a loan between October and November would automatically qualify to participate in the Mega Money Roadshow. I mean, who don't want to win $20,000 in cash? I do.
Hey.
I would like to win $20,000 in cash.
Come on, man.
So, yes. And the good thing about it is a lot of persons will think that they have to bring in all this information. And it's not a lot when you really sit down and think about it. If you are an existing Coach customer, you already have an account with us, you paid well on credit, etc. You just need to bring your payslip, your ID card, and a utility bill. Your most recent payslip. You don't have to worry about bringing a job letter immediately unless you would have changed your job. If you change jobs, then you will be required to present with a job letter. But if you did not change jobs and you're working with the same company for how many years and payments are being paid well, you just bring your ID card, your most recent payslip, and a utility bill, and we can use that to process your loan for you today. So I want to encourage persons to take advantage of the reduced rate that we have currently at Coach Ready Cash. You cannot beat a 25% off of your interest rate anywhere. I mean, take advantage of it while the time is here. I know it's coming down closer and closer to Christmas, and everybody is looking to see how they can get this extra money to do all the lovely things that they like to do at their home. They want to get their black cake going. They want to get their ham. You know, they want to get all sorts of different things that for the season. So come to Coach and be a part of that. Make your season merry with a Coach Ready Cash loan, and take advantage of all the different promotions that we have running. 25% off your interest rate. Nothing to pay until February of 2024. $100 cash back when you refer your friend. I mean, that's a lot. Plus, you also get in-store giveaways. We have our in-store giveaways as well. How did I forget that? You can win a variety of different prizes. And then you also get to participate in the Mega Money Roadshow, where you can win up to $20,000 in cash. So I don't know what else to say. I feel like I'm convincing myself as well.
Hey, no. Yeah, nah. I think what's standing out for some people might be that Mega Money Roadshow, but that's you'll tell us more about that next week, Monday, God's willing. I think what's standing out is the Mega Money Roadshow. Apart from the 25% of these 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Okay. Yes. So if you need to find us, we are located directly opposite post office in Kingstown. Once you know where to find the post office, you must find us. We're the only blue building that's opposite the post office.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to contact us, you can contact us on 456-1325. The extension range from 2120 all the way through to 2124, to 2121, 2122, 2123, 2124. You call any of those extensions and somebody will be able to assist you with information about your cash loan, interest rates, repayments, whatever information you're looking for, so that we can make your decision easier for you. All right?
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Dea.
Thank you.
You have yourself a wonderful week. And that was Courts and Vincent Limited, more specifically Courts Ready Cash. And if you have any questions, anything at all you want to find out, 456-1325 is the number to call. Let's take a break and come back.
Switch to a Ready Cash loan today. Bring your loan to us and get 25% off your interest rate. Get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and hassle-free service, so you can do all the important things you need with ease. All you need is your ID, proof of address, payslip, job letter, and 2 references. Visit us in store or apply online at www.shopcourts.com. Courts Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
First National Bank says get the home you've always wanted with 0 down. That's right, as we celebrate more than 85 years of being here for you as the first indigenous bank, we're giving 85 individuals 100% financing to achieve their dream of home ownership. This is possibly the most important decision you'll ever make. 100% financing for your dream home. Call or come into First National Bank today and ask about our 0 down payment, 100% financing for mortgages. First National Bank, here for you.
That's the sound of your animals. Strong, healthy, and delivering yields you love. That didn't just happen. It began with you feeding them only the best. East Caribbean Feeds. Rest assured, we only produce your feeds with premium ingredients, no hormones, no animal byproducts, just everything your animal needs for maximum nutrition. Because your animals deserve only the best. East Caribbean Feeds for maximum nutrition.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And the time now is 8:47 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're back. And this morning we're speaking mental health, and with us it's myself, Doc Thompson, Christal, and of course our very informed and wonderful guest this morning, Julonna Peterson and Marlon Young. Good morning, everyone, again.
Yes.
So Doc, you had a question,
Yes,
right?
yes, I did. Now I'm gonna throw this one out. I know it may be a little controversial. Apart from the origin of the ability to cope, being in childhood and the parenting and so forth, I was looking at a couple of studies, one in the UK that identified work pressures, 32% as the cause of some mental, financial pressures, health concerns, 22%. And I was surprised it didn't touch a lot on drugs or on the relationship with your female partner. And even though all these are cross-cutting and interact with each other, I want to ask you, the relationship with the female in your life, if that is true, that it's not significant or as high, then, and that individuals should learn to cope more. You're not hearing, eh? Individuals should learn to cope more. How can the female help that male in relation to mental illness? I'm gonna throw this one to you, Miss Peterson. And then I don't know if Marlon, if you dare to come back in with that one.
I love that question, Doc.
Of course, I really love that question.
I love it because yesterday, men dog day, when we came about men's day and all kind of things. So how can the female, how can the woman help us men feel better?
Before you answer, it's funny that you should ask that. It says controversial. I thought you were going somewhere else with it. But I had 2 questions. I know I said I ain't talking today, but that was one. What can I do as a woman to help a man?
Thank you, Christal.
Yeah. So I ain't talking for the rest of the morning.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to
all over to you.
Yeah, I have to go back to the beginning of your question when you were stating some facts, that you saw some other things and not really like relationship and stuff like that being one of the causes of stress. There are different types of stress. There's pressure, life changes, frustration, right? So I think relationships would probably fall in all of those. But the way we appraise stress or the way we see stress, understand stress, depends on these things. So if we see it as something not threatening, It's not going to interfere with us. Maybe like if we run out of gas and we know we have another gas right there, it wouldn't cause stress, right? Then it can go down to something that's stressful but not really relevant to you, so you kind of don't pay attention to it. And then when it's stressful, what happens? You go into secondary appraisal, meaning you find out or you gather your coping strategies like we talked about to try to deal with it. So that being said, in any relationship, you should, and let me say this very clearly, you should look for someone or be with someone that can be your partner. And I say that word because having a partner means someone to shoulder or burden whatever is happening in the life in general, right? Because there's no way us as individuals can always be 100%, right? We need sometimes someone to burden the 80, probably even the 90 or the 95, right? So to answer Christal's question as well, what can you do as a female or a partner to help your man, right? You can literally be what I just said, a partner. You can be a listening ear, right? You can make, men are simple beings. Make them feel comfortable. Make them feel, and yes, I say that boldly, Marlon, men are simple beings. Make them feel comfortable. Make them feel like you are their biggest supporter, their biggest cheerleader. And I'm even going to touch a bit on love languages, right? And I'm not perfect in this, and I'm learning every day.
Good day.
But I'm touching into love languages because a lot of men tend to think, oh, my love language is physical touch, physical touch, physical touch. And science has proven that's not really the case. A lot of men's love language, especially in the Black Caribbean community, is words of affirmation, right? Because a lot of men, and we talked about it earlier, they are not, or they have not grown up in that environment where they hear, oh, good job, you're great, you're handsome, you're this, they don't get that. So they crave that, and then they replace that need with the physical touch and saying, oh yeah, that's how I want to be loved. But tell a man or tell your partner, if you do have one, Christal, oh, you're doing great, you look handsome today. And they will be grinning from ear to ear from 6 o'clock in the morning to sundown like it's a Sabbath. Yeah? So, and Ari shaking his head like you want to rock it off. That's the truth.
No, because I said on Friday, right, that I saw a video where a woman was saying she told her boyfriend, you are deserving of love, and he broke down crying. And I totally understand that, because I've had conversation with friends, and friends have told me that they've asked their partner, hey, just remind me that I'm doing okay, remind me that I'm handsome, remind me, just give me some small words of affirmation on the daily so I can feel a lot better about myself, and then I could brave the day.
So Joanna, I don't want to ask the question, why is this not done? Because I believe it is being done to some degree, but is it being done enough? And is this where the education really needs to come through? And I want to hear Marlon on this too, you know what I mean? Because he's a man, and I want to know.
Before Marlon comes on, if I may say, that is definitely person specific. So we can't say, oh, if it's not being done, or it's person specific, because there will be women that will do that in every relationship, and there would be women that really don't think it's necessary.
Percentage wise, I mean, is it okay? All right.
Go ahead, Marlon.
Yeah.
When it's not necessary, they believe it's not necessary when it is really necessary.
All right. On this point, it's Christal asked this question after Christal abandoned me without checking on me for quite a long while. So, but that's just thing. But I'm saying it is necessary as I still love you, Christal. I will always love you. But when we look at relationship, and I know Julonna looked at it from the psychological part, but if we really we consider ourselves to be a Christian community, when the Bible tells us how a woman was created and the purpose in which she was created for, she was created to help the man achieve everything that God placed in him. And if when women get into relationship, they see that that is their purpose, that they find a man that they believe in him, they believe everything about him and what he hopes to achieve, and that they're going to play that role to achieve that, to help him achieve that, then by all means, they would alleviate some of the stress. We cannot alleviate all stress, that is impossible for us to do, but they would make the burden of his duty and purpose easy. we talk about love languages, and not a lot of us in the community, especially men, know about love languages. And it is one thing to know love languages, but is your partner speaking a language that you understand? Because this is sometimes happens in relationship. You have females sometimes they come to me, oh, he doesn't love me, he don't this, he don't that, and whatever. In fact, and he is actually speaking a language, but it's not the language that she understands. So, for example, my love language is words of affirmation and physical touch. I might have a female that her love language is quality time. So we actually spend an entire day together. We laugh, we talk, everything. But she never touched me, and I'm going to believe her. She don't love me, she don't want me, and she's leaving feeling happy and filled. But at the end of the day, I'm feeling as if I've just wasted 3 hours of my day. You understand? And that puts me in a very stressful situation because I may have invested money, I may have booked a hotel room, in that sense. So it is important that both of you are speaking a language that each other understand. It is not just about love languages, because we love to talk about love languages, but at the end of the day, it is the same like communication. If I'm speaking Spanish, you're speaking French. We may be speaking about the same thing, but are we understanding each other? And that is important in relationship, that you understand each other. Because if I don't understand you, because for example, a woman love language might be, let's put it this way, act of services. But as a man, I grew up thinking that it's a woman's duty to take care of the home. So she cooks, she cleans, and just washing the dishes would be enough for her. But I think that is not my role. That is not my duty. And she's now stressed because of all of the burden. And she's saying, oh, so you can't even at least just pick up a broom and clean the house. And I'm thinking to my mind, but that is not my job. That is not my duty. I provide for you. I give you money. I buy you clothes. I do all of these things. These gifts, you understand, is the way I am showing you that I love you, and it is not actually the way. So when we talk about love language, too, a woman needs to understand that her role as she stands by her man, none is more equal than the other. Let me make that clear. When I say that she stands by her man, is to assist the man in building the dream that they have together, and also speak a language that he understands. If his words of affirmation, tell him he look cute. It is one thing when your language is words of affirmation and you left the house and your significant partner did not say to you, and then some random young lady meets you on the road and say, oh, you look nice today. That hurts. And for my females out there, I'm telling you from a man perspective, that hurts a lot. And I'm going to end there.
That's insightful. We don't have a lot of time left. We might have to steal a bit of time from 9 o'clock, or about 5 minutes or so. But to follow up with this here, now, as a woman, sometimes you encounter men who you think would want to hear certain things, or would want that like feminine touch in their lives, and for you to be soft with them and so on. So you are being very loving and very caring. But the guy maybe does not appreciate, maybe he doesn't understand what is going on. If you are giving them these words, or you realize that their love language is words of affirmation, how long should a woman force that sort of communication with the man who she thinks or knows needs it? If she should do that, then how long should she be giving that to him without him either appreciating or understanding what's going on?
Interesting. Sometimes as men, we don't know how to receive love, and this is significant because of the society in which we grew up in. Some of us don't have healthy families. Most of us grew up in single parent family, so we never see what it's like for a man to receive love. We never really see what it's like to be a real man. Let me put it out there. And so most of us, the gangster way of life, or the tough life, the macho man mentality is all that we have. So in as much as we like to hear, oh, you're looking nice, or oh, you're handsome, or when I see you in that boxer short, this is what it does to us. All of that makes us feel smushy on the inside, and as your female would say, give us butterflies as well too. But in the end of the day, I have to play macho. I have to just be like, girl, you can't stop playing, and at the end of the day, and that frustrates a woman, because she's giving you what you want, but as we say, it is not being received because a lot of us as men don't know how to receive love, and that is a big problem in our society. I have to leave you now as I have another engagement. Thanks for having me, and to all the listeners, do have a wonderful day.
Marlon.
Yes.
Hey, Marlon. Oh,
Yes,
gosh.
go ahead.
Marlon. Well, I know you had to go because I was going to come up with something else. We were talking about women, but what about men? In terms of your friends, we can't go out and tell a friend, boy, I have a mental problem. Boy, I have a stress. Because they start to laugh at us.
Yes.
So how can men also help their buddies, their friends, and so forth, to be able to cope more? Is that a fact? I brought up the females, but what about men? Is that going to be a fact? I know you gotta go. I know you gotta run from the question.
He has one.
No, well, I know you gotta run from the question. But if Julia, I want to answer it, I hope you could trade a few words. Oh, yes, yes.
I could trade a few words.
All right, then. Okay, well, a class waiting for you, so we understand.
Yes.
Just to answer that quickly, is that I think with that, one of the things in which, in terms of like in sporting arena, and of course who grew up playing sport, one of the things that we can be done is that sometimes after sports, men sit around and we talk about everything. And sometimes if you have a very good friend, and as men, sometimes rather than you just sit and you talk about things, sometimes it's easy to just like say, how is everything at home? How is everything at work? And we don't have to dive into the very factor. I have a very good friend, and sometimes he will say, man, nah, you're looking down to the man. Let's go and have a drink. Or sometimes he come and say, you want to talk? And as men, we can do that. You understand? We don't always have to just say, man, drink something, man, smoke something. So we have to learn as men that we have other functions in society when it comes to our bros. We have other purpose than to carry them just about fun and whatever. Sometimes you can even bring it up and say, boy, what do you think about counseling? What do you think about therapy? Or sometimes movies or songs. I have a friend who used to do that. Sometimes he would send me a song, and then I realized very late that is what his way of wanting to tell me. He said, what do you think about this song? And then we start discussion around that, and so forth. So there are different ways as men that we can do reach out to our friends. We just gotta find one that you know your friend would be very appreciative of. And thank you all very much. I love you all, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Marlon.
Good answer.
Julonna, I know you also have to leave soon. I just want to add one thing to what Marlon said and ask you one final question. No, Doc, not everybody, because for me, when I'm playing video games with my friends, there are times when we're not even playing. Where late at night, some of us in the group chat, and we're just talking about our lives and different things that we're going through and getting advice from our friends. On different various topics. Last week I told you guys that my laptop, I lost my laptop when my house flooded. One of my friends called me just to check on my mental health. That goes a long way. Julonna, the two questions I want to have is, we spoke about gender roles briefly in the beginning. What are healthy and unhealthy gender roles? Because I believe it can be fluid nowadays, but there's still certain things that men would do better than women and women would do better than men. So I'm wondering, what do you think are healthy and unhealthy gender roles, and what are some coping mechanisms that you recommend for men to practice when dealing with their mental health?
Okay, that's a kind of loaded question. Healthy and unhealthy gender roles. Okay, so I always say that when it comes to complete okay, how to put it, to complete extremes. So let's say, okay, a man definitely not supposed to cook, and a woman only supposed to cook. So you see these extremes, like only and have to and that kind of stuff. When we have these extremes, I think that's the issue. So it should never be and like you said, it should be fluid. It should never be something where the woman or the man feels like, if I don't do this, I have no purpose. And that's the issue a lot of the times with gender roles. So the man is like, okay, God forbid he loses his job or he has to take a lesser pay. and he automatically, because of the gender role perpetuated, he automatically feels less than, then obviously the mental health deteriorates and all that kind of stuff because of this absolute gender role of him being the breadwinner and he has to make more and that kind of stuff. So that's definitely unhealthy, the absolutes. The same goes to the woman. Or if she can't cook, if she can't clean, if she can't bear children, then then she's less than, and then obviously that affects the mental health as well. So the absolutes, I think, are the unhealthy gender roles. What was the next part of the question? Some healthy coping strategies.
What are some recommended coping? Yes.
Right. I think I
touched your mental health.
Okay, I think I touched this earlier, but coping strategies are person specific. And because I can't tell you, okay, you need to go and take a walk on the beach and listen to the waves if that doesn't do anything for you. Or, and Marlon even mentioned therapy. I know in the Caribbean on a whole, and I have been championing for this for the past 15 years. When it comes to availability of therapy and confidentiality and all that kind of good stuff. But for whatever reason, we are still back in the Stone Ages when it comes to mental health and therapy in the Caribbean. Let's hope within the next 15 years, it gets better. But that's definitely something that helps a lot. Like, you don't have to have a problem to go to therapy. You can literally just want someone to speak to, someone that is completely unbiased and neutral. And you speak to that person and you feel like you've just taken a bath for 10 hours. You feel refreshed, right? Definitely things that don't or would not cause another issue. So lessen the drinking as a coping strategy, definitely not good. The smoking and the holding things in, that one is a big thing, which piggybacks to the therapy, having someone to speak to. Because when we hold things in and then we overthink and then, we react in ways that could have prevented if we actually just let some out. And you spoke on what I spoke about earlier as well in terms of journaling. You said that you found that was a helpful tool for you. So writing down your issues, it could be the simplest thing like, oh boy, I came in 2 minutes late to work and my boss cussed me out and I felt like boxing him in his face. You write that down, right? Because you never know if keeping that inside, what that and other things can pile and make happen. So, yeah. That's my opinion.
All right. Thanks a lot again for joining us, John. I know you have a busy schedule. We appreciate it this morning and do have a wonderful morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
and take
everybody,
care.
for having me. All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
We stole a lot of time from our bank rate, so we're gonna get straight into the bank rate.